I guess. Associates, I'll say.
Okay.
I mean, I know a lot of people, but.
But you may probably only have one or two friends. Really good
Well, I'm
friends.
kind of strange. I have.
How are you strange?
I don't reach out to
You
a
don't
lot of
trust people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it in your eyes. You're not trusting.
Yeah.
You're afraid somebody's going to do something or take something away from you.
I've been around a while. So,
You've been around a while? You don't look a day over 35. So don't say nothing.
Thank you.
No,
I'll take
you don't.
it.
But I know what you say. I mean, you can meet somebody and say, give me a call. I will take, they'll give you your, they won't give you their number, but they'll take your number.
Right.
And then they'll never call you.
Yeah.
And I don't like people who do that.
Yeah.
Because that's not being honest. If you're not going to do it, say, damn it, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
Don't lie to, because you get a person's hopes up. And it's hard to dash them down again.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's one reason why I had stopped kind of even trying to push the book, because I know you have to do work and you have to form relationships and stuff, but a lot of things that we're saying, yes, I'll do this or yes, I'll do that, wasn't materializing. So I'm like, you know what, let me focus my mind.
You lose your confidence,
Yeah.
don't you? Sometimes you lose your confidence.
Yeah. And it's hard work trying to promote a book.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Yeah.
You need an agent is what you really need. Right. You don't mention the name of the place you went to, but you paid them money and they didn't do anything for you, basically.
Right. Right.
There's a lot of rip-off people out there, and I hope you know who you are.
Yeah.
Because it's hard, you know, because you don't tell someone who's got that, let's say, that fire in the belly, with your hopes are so high, you're like this, and then they promise you, and then they snatch it away from you.
And I'm always dreaming. Maybe I need to stop dreaming.
What do you dream? What do you dream about?
Well, just like the time, and my children and family are probably tired of my different inventions. And
oh, you have a lot. So does my manager here, Jim. His mind goes like this, and I do too. I dream at night. I remember one night. This is a true story. I was in bed and I woke up and I heard somebody say, "I need your help." And I thought, gee, then I need your help a little bit louder. And then the third time, I need your help. And as God is my witness, I looked up and I have the big paddle fan, and the body of Jesus Christ was on that fan looking down at me. And I got to work with the children in the prisons. I need your help.
Oh, see, that's right. Okay. Well, I didn't
face,
really,
the head, the thorn, everything was right there. He was in my room telling me.
Okay. And see, so you put it to that
I put
use.
it to about a year. Yes, I wrote a book called When All the Doors Closed, Look to the Windows.
Okay.
And it dealt with teenagers, and then I started working in the prison system.
Okay.
But that's a wake-up call. I mean, when you hear something like that.
Well, you know, that kind of reminds me of how I came up with the title.
Why?
I was laying there in the bed. At this time, my sister had already gone through chemo. And she slept in the, well, I moved into my son's room after they moved, and we have 2 beds in there. So I slept in one, she slept in the other.
Right.
And so a particular night, I was just laying there, and it came in my mind, 2 sisters, 1 breast. I was not writing the book at that time. Just came in my mind, 2 sisters, 1 breast, 2 sisters, 1 breast. And I was like, what is this? And I, you know, kept trying to go back to sleep, but I couldn't go back to sleep. So I said, you know what?
You couldn't. I had to get up and get coffee or tea or something.
No, I wrote it down.
Surreal.
I just wrote the words down.
You just wrote the words down?
Yeah, I wrote them down. I just jotted them down. You know, I was like, I don't know why I'm writing them, but I'm going to write the words down. And then I went on back to sleep just as peacefully.
Right.
And it was about 6 months, maybe 4 to 6 months after that when I started doing the book. And then I told my sister, you know what? I think I already have the title.
You do?
And that was it.
Well, also, I lost a young son to murder.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
He was at his grandfather's house, and 2 men had just been released from Jessup Penitentiary. And they took him out in the woods, and they stabbed him 13 times in the back.
Your son?
My son. And that was the whole thing for writing the book, because no, I didn't know who had killed him. The only person who knew was my son and the man who did it. So about 3 days after he was murdered, I had this big bright light come in my room. This is a true story. And my son walked to me and stood at the foot of my bed, and he had the most beautiful smile on his face. And he says, "Mom, I'm all right. I'm with your best friend, God."
Aww.
And the smile was just so bright, it took his whole face up. And when I went to the funeral home to see him, he had the same smile on his face. And what was even more, it was really strange, he told me who killed him. Gave me the name of the 2 men, the guy who drove the car, and then the man who actually killed him. And he says, "Mom, they're going to be leaving in the morning, and they're going to go into Canada. And if you don't have somebody there by 9 o'clock, they're going to get away." So I tried to get out of the bed, Iris, to go hug him. I wanted to hold him so bad, but he just kept backing into the light. Called the detective. They caught both men.
Oh, good.
The very next morning at 8:45 a.m. trying to cross over into Canada.
Wow.
I feel blessed.
I'm glad that you know who did it. Huh? Wow.
Like the detective said, there's only 2 people who knew that, your son and the man who did it.
Right. And God.
And I changed, he says, you've changed my way of thinking. He says, you have so much spirit that you just radiate it, and your son came to you and told you that. So it's amazing how God works.
It is.
Because if Richard had not had that opportunity to come back and tell me what happened and to show me the love in his eyes, I don't know if I'd be here today. Because I lost a young brother, my mom turned into an alcoholic. She killed herself drinking because he was killed.
Wow.
And I swore to God I would never, never, ever do that. So my book is when all the doors close, look to the windows, because when a window closes, the door opens.
But you know, you've had a lot of tragedies, and I must say I haven't.
You haven't.
I haven't experienced.
Yeah.
You know, my mother died, but it wasn't tragically. My sister, my other sister, not the one that the book is about, but March 3rd. We got the message that she was in the hospital dying. I mean, almost dead. So I can't even imagine, because fortunately she lived. You know, she's But I'm just saying, at that time, I'm driving down the street. I don't know how people can do it when they lose someone that they love so dearly. So I mean, I know how they can do it, but it's hard.
You do it one day at a time. But when you can see all these things coming your way that wouldn't have come your way, because I went to the prison after he was arrested. Well, first we had the trial, and they wanted a jury trial, but the guy said no. The judge said, no, we don't need a jury trial. This is an open and closed case. So the jury walked out, and the one lady says, are you the mother? And I go, yeah. And she says, they need a damn, you know, he needs to be, you know, what do you want to call the jury? He needs a jury trial. And he said, because those people are no good. But the judge sentenced him to 2nd-degree murder. Okay. And he got out, and it gave him 14 years. 20 years he was given, and the state's attorney goes, Angela, he's going to serve the whole 20 years, so don't worry, he won't be out. He only served 7.
Wow.
So you can see when you have a judge sitting on his bony butt up there overseeing everything and gives a man 20 years and he's out in 7. So, I mean, it was anger, I was depressed, but anyway, I went to church and I said a prayer and I was able to forgive this person. I forgave him for what he did to me, the hurt, but not Richard, because Richard will have to do that.
Well, my sister that the book is about didn't die. But it has required a lot of forgiveness on both of our parts, because people that we knew, that we thought would be there,
weren't there.
Not to mention one of her friends, her very dear friends, took her away from the hospital, because I wanted her to stay in the hospital because she had the surgery in Pennsylvania. I wanted her to stay in the hospital, but they were like, oh no, you know, I can take care of her. We got to the person's house, like I said, the person took my sister from the hospital. It was about 4 p.m. 6 o'clock a.m. the very next morning, she put us out of her house.
Oh my God.
When my sister was just so sick, very few people, and my sister is the type of person, all of her friends, if anything is wrong, she's right there for them.
Yeah.
So it has required a lot of forgiveness, but another thing too, I draw strength and encouragement from those who were there for her.
Exactly.
Because I said, well, these are the people that God used.
They're the ones who care. They are God's soldiers.
Right.
I call them God's soldiers who come to help. They ride in and they charge in and they do what they say.
And he used them. Those ones who turned their back, they just weren't used by him. So
there are a lot of people that are like that. I don't really like two-faced people. I really don't. Stab me one time, I'm gone. It may be weird to say that, but when my great niece is in the studio, but I'm not going to show her. She was 6 years old, about a year ago. She said to me, she came over to my house. She's cooked a lot, and I make cookies and all that. And I didn't feel like making cookies when I said I would, but I made them. And when they were finished, she looked at me and she goes, you know something, Aunt Rose? You're the first person in my short lifetime who's ever promised me something they do, and you did it.
Wow.
That's a big word from a 6-year-old child. You see, these are good people.
Yeah.
And I think she's been around a few. I think she's an old soul. She knows a lot for her age. So
yeah, my granddaughter is 8.
You have a granddaughter who's 8?
And whatever I tell her I'm going to do, I try to do it.
You have to. Because my father said that. Maybe who put that in your head, your mom or your dad?